Hi, I think you all know me. I'm Reverend Maureen, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to Carlsbad Center for Spiritual Living, where we teach and believe that there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it. So,
I like the way you said that.
And I want to begin today by inviting Linda up to do the candles. And the candles are here to remind ourselves of the underlying spirit of life and the divine unity of all. So we light a candle for life. Life is everywhere present, flowing through each and every one of us. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life, right here, right now. So please affirm with me, I am life. And we light a candle for love. The birth of love happens within each one of us every time we make room for the Christ consciousness in our hearts and recognize our unity. We are points of love within the heart of God. Please affirm with me, I am love. We light a candle for light. The light of God is the presence and the power. We are always walking in the light. We radiate the light of God wherever we are. So please affirm with me, I am light. We light a candle for beauty. Thank you. We are made in the likeness and image of God. We are each whole, complete, and beautiful, just as we are. We accept the beauty of God's perfection as our perfection now. So please affirm with me, I am beauty. We light the candle for peace. Today and every day, we open our hearts to, Well, let's do peace. Today and every day, we open our hearts to peace. We are each a center of peace in our world. So please affirm with me, I am peace. And lastly, we light the candle for joy. Joy is the very nature of spirit and the true essence of each of us. We celebrate the joy of our own rebirth in God consciousness. We each bring joy to the world. So please affirm with me, I am joy. And finally, take a moment to recognize your own inner light that is always shining within as we take a moment to honor our own metaphysical path, which is wholeness, oneness, mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thank you, Linda. So, announcements. I think we have no first-timers here. So, just want to remind you that we're here to do spiritual mind treatment for you. Please raise your hand. Who's available after? Yes, we're here for you. Thank you. So, if you don't want to have an individual prayer treatment, want to treat for yourself or someone else, you can also put the request out on the table, fill out a written request, and we'll all do a treatment for you. Some other announcements. Dr. Tom Sanner, which many of you know, who was the minister of One Heart, One Mind, Center for Spiritual Living, his memorial service is at Seaside Center for Spiritual Living, November 4th at 1 p.m. And we also have one of his books out on the table. It's called Angel Quest. Today, Reverend Kate's going to be teaching the third module in the consciousness and creative process, the materials from Judge Tralward. So, and I wanted to remind all of you too, if you did not last week get one of these, please pick one up on the table. This is your 40 days of gratitude leading up to Thanksgiving. And the other morning, I was just almost awake, and I was lying there in bed And I heard the sprinkler system come on, and I said, thank you. I'm so happy for an automatic sprinkler system. But, you know, you can be grateful for everything in your life. And that's how it starts, being grateful, because Spirit is in everything. So, okay, I want to say thank you to our volunteers today. Thank you, Robert, as greeter. Thank you, Verla. Aren't these amazing? Thank you, Verla. Where? Oh, there you are. And thank you for the little pumpkins and boards. So cute. Thank you. And treats, Ruth Ann.
Yeah.
Thank you. And video recording, Larry. And Jan and Angel, as always. Thank you. And if you want to sign up, I think we've got every space filled next week except greeter. You have to get up early for that one. So, all right. Let's do our group reading. Most of you know it is an Inside You program. God is both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love, perfect abundance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance. So it is. Group song. So.
Who wants to go to heaven?
Let's stand.
Well, I'm choosing heaven, and so are you. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I choose love. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing beauty. I'm choosing beauty today. I'm choosing beauty today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing beauty today. I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing peace today. And I'm choosing peace today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing peace today. I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing joy today. I'm back to heaven. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. Woo!
Thank you, thank you. That was great, Rick. Well, now it's time for inspirational reading. And Jim, you've got your own copy?
Got my own copy.
All right. Here, can I get that out of your way?
I know you guys can all hear me, sort of.
What did you say?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Today's reading on the power of love was written by Reverend Dr. Carol Carnes. It does not matter what we love if love is active in us and being expressed. It can be love for our plants, our pets, our home, anything. Love is an energy of appreciation, gratitude, and caring. Someone once said to me, you cannot really love anything other than a human or a living thing. I argued that love does not have a preference for its recipients. It is like light. It lands on everything in its immediate environment. Turns out, it also affects what is at a distance if we extend it. Love is the energy that brings things together and maintains them in harmony and balance as long as love is active. Ernest Holmes said that, and it is demonstrable. Pull love out of the equation and it all dissolves. All of which leads me to this unavoidable truth. Humanity needs our love right now. It needs our caring, compassion, gratitude, and appreciation. We need to see through the appearance of the few and judge righteously. Meaning, it is not helpful to disparage humans for their horrific behavior. We must see to the core of love within all beings and imagine that we can connect with and activate it. This is not easy. This is not easy to do when humans are behaving as if they were truly evil. But nothing will change for us as long as we remain in us and them mode. We may not be doing harm, but we are part of the whole, which is the sum of all parts. Now affirm with me. Love is the power that makes all things new.
Love is the
power that makes all things new.
Love is the answer to every question.
Love is the answer to every question.
Love is my shield and my weapon of choice.
Love is my shield and my weapon of choice.
I extend love to all humanity.
I extend love to all humanity.
And so it is.
Thank you, Jim.
Bye, Jim.
And right now we have one more musical selection by Rick.
Well, this is a song I've never done before, so I hope I can do it justice. It's called Nothing More, and it sort of addresses that reading that we just heard. To be humble, to be kind, it is the giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that it has no end. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. To be bold, to be brave, it is the thinking that the heart can still be saved, and the darkness can come quick. The dangers in the anger and the hanging on to it. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. So tell me what it is that you see, a world that's full of endless possibilities. And heroes don't look like they used to, look like you do. How we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. We are how we treat each each other and nothing more. We are how we treat each other.
Thank you, Susie. That was great. Did you write that?
That was good.
Okay.
I wish I did. I stole it.
Who's it by?
It's by a band or a group called The Alternate Roots.
Alternate Roots. Oh, love it. Thank you. Thank you. Well, now it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Reverend Kate DuVivier. Thank you, Reverend Kate.
Don't mind me, I'm just getting organized here. I told Pat that I practiced my talk, and she said, "Oh, you mean in front of a mirror?" I'm like, no, in front of the imaginary audience. So it's really nice to be here and with you. It's wonderful to be here today. You know, and it does feel like fall, doesn't it? So I noticed a few fall colors, and these beautiful flowers are just perfect for a fall day. Gorgeous. Yeah.
They don't die.
And when I was driving here this morning, over on the right-hand side, the east side of the freeway, was that beautiful pumpkin patch by the strawberry field. Oh, a huge pumpkin. So it's great, you know, and autumn really is the perfect time to celebrate our harvest. And that's why we encourage everyone to work on a gratitude practice. It just goes perfectly. It's the right time of year. Just like Dr. Maddie suggested in her talk last week, which was so beautiful. And, you know, gratitude is a spiritual practice. One of the things that we can really do to change our lives. But I have to say what I was thinking about her talk, which I'm sorry we didn't get that recording quite right. But I just want to remind you that one of the spiritual practices, I don't think she recommended it, but that she demonstrated with, was the unhappy people, the unhappy couple who were told by their guru to bring all their barnyard animals into their house. So that after a few weeks, when they finally released them, they felt so much happiness and joy. That is not a spiritual practice that we teach here, so relax. But I just thought it was funny. So like Reverend Maureen said, we have more gratitude journals, so be sure to
What's not the
pick one
bring
up.
the animals in or letting them loose?
Yeah, either one. Dogs and cats and hamsters are okay. So, you know, we teach practices, and then we teach what we call principles, which are the kind of underlying reasons why we do these practices. And the number one principle that we come back to again and again is simply that this is a spiritual universe and that there is nothing besides spirit. Or today we're going to call it pure originating spirit, which is how New Thought author Thomas Troward referred to it. And as you know, we have been teaching about his writing, and several of us are reading his book, The Creative Process in the Individual. And so we'll be discussing that after the service today, but there are a few more generalized basic ideas that I wanted to share with everyone, whether you're in the class or not. Because it was Thomas Troward who provided what you could think of as the intellectual explanation of New Thought. And his work really contributed greatly to the work of our founder, Ernest Holmes, who wrote The Science of Mind. So even though Troward can seem wordy in the way that he writes, it's also exciting to have it right there in front of you, you know, and to kind of think about how exciting it must have been for a person like Ernest Holmes, who grew up on a farm in Maine in the late 1800s, to be exposed to these ideas. And Troward came up with these ideas through logic, through thinking. And it's interesting that his ideas about the nature of reality are still being explored by more traditional, or what we would call experimentally based scientists today. So what today's experimentally based scientists refer to as the Big Bang actually seems perfectly harmonious with Troward's explanation that life, or the universe that we're experiencing, must have had some cause, an underlying cause, which we often call first cause, which Troward called pure originating spirit. So a couple of weeks ago, I tried to describe how life, as we knew it, came about through the self-contemplation of spirit, which led then to the development of spirit and form as reciprocals or complements of each other. Well, today I want to kind of move from the discussion of the macro, it's called macro metaphysics, to maybe micro metaphysics, right? So from looking at the whole universe to looking at us as individuals, through introducing what Thomas Troward referred to as the personal factor. So I know that you're all familiar with what we call the creative process, but it's very important to what we're talking about. So it's just the idea that while the divine essence or God or pure spirit is a unified whole, it's inseparable, it can't be divided up really, we could still think of it as having several aspects, which we call spirit, soul, and body, or spirit, the creative medium, and the world of experience. And these aspects exist in all living creatures. So the easiest way to think of it is that the seed, our thoughts, are planted into the soil, or the creative invisible medium, which we refer to as the law, or the mechanism by which growth and expansion or manifestation take place. And then the plant, or the manifestation itself, is generated, so to speak, as an experience. You know, it's a really simplistic way to look at life. It's just a way to think about it, that's all. And obviously, here, we're not infallible. We don't explain everything about life perfectly. There's still plenty of gaps, things that we don't know. And one of the nice things about taking a class is we discuss things, whether we know them or not. We ask each other questions and get to share. So there are things we know and don't know, and a lot of ideas that are just kind of out there floating around, and sometimes they seem to work into our concept of science of mind. And during the past week, it just so happened that I read 2 articles about 2 different, totally different scientific studies that seemed actually quite relevant to what we teach. So the first one seemed to be totally in opposition to our teaching. So I'll just say that. So there's a neurobiologist at Stanford, Dr. Sapolsky, who wrote a book, and I didn't read the book, I just read the article about the book. But he claims there is no such thing as choice. There is no such thing as free will. And of course we teach that. I mean, choice is what we're all about, learning to make better choices. But he says virtually all human behavior is completely out of our conscious control. It is as unconscious as the beating of our hearts, that free will is a myth. And I thought this was interesting because he takes this idea which seems so hopeless, and he says, he puts kind of a good spin on it. He says, the sooner we accept that there is no free will, the more just our society will be, because we will stop blaming and punishing people for stuff that they never had any control over. Anyways, like, a different way of looking at it. And he kind of gave some examples, or the article gave some examples, which we know, I agree with. The example that if you go to the grocery store when you're hungry and stressed, oh, you might get a cart full of cookies, right? So that's one example. But he's just saying that, no, actually this is what is always happening, that we're always being driven by our past experiences and our hormones and our, our neurological pathways, to the point that we're just not making decisions. Now, his belief is called determinism. It's interesting. It's a little different than people who believe entirely in fate, but it has a similarity, this idea that we're not at choice. So, if you happen to read our newsletter, you might know that in it I was asking people to think about the question, are we like sardines swimming around in this big school of sardines in the ocean? Everybody goes this way, everybody goes that way. Or are we able to make our own decisions? Do we do what we want, what we choose?
I do it.
Yeah, of course. That's right. That is the right answer. But on the other hand, if you think about it, what this neurobiologist was saying, that we're behaving unconsciously, we also teach that when we are behaving unconsciously, things just happen to us. It's one of the keys to the question we always get, which is, well, I made these choices, but my life doesn't seem to reflect that. Well, there's a lot that goes on in our unconscious, and maybe in the unconscious of those fellow sardine people next to us. So we are kind of creating conditions, and we need to make an effort to become self-aware. Make an effort to reflect and choose consciously and make our own free decisions. So then there was this other article that seemed to be like amazingly in support of our teaching. The title of it was, Your Consciousness Can Connect with the Whole Universe, scientists say. And it was about some new research on the structure of consciousness itself. And this research suggests that consciousness is a quantum process in which a quantum wave passes through little microtubules inside our, nerve cells in our brain. And that when a human being is in what they call a heightened state of consciousness. So I took that to mean like when you're meditating or paying a little more attention to the universe than you might be at the grocery store. That during this time, quantum particles actually connect anywhere with quantum particles anywhere in the entire universe. Basically, they said, well, they already know, they've already proven that in a plant's photosynthesis involves a quantum process of light hitting the plant, forming energy, and then that energy travels to where it's going to be stored in the plant by what they called a quantum process of trying all simultaneous paths at the same time, trying all possible which ways to get to where it needs to go, and then following the best path so it gets to the storage spot within the plant without losing the energy. Because if you think about it, how much energy does it take to travel? You know, even through a plant. But through this quantum process, it's just there. It just travels right there in the most efficient way. And so using this kind of as a starting point, they never thought that it could take place in a human, but they have now discovered not only does the similar type of process take place in the human brain, but it may be even 1,000 times stronger than the effect that they see in plants. And that this may ultimately turn out to be the mechanism that allows us to have a sense of consciousness, a sense of free will, and a sense of being connected with the greater universe. So of course, I read it, I was like, oh, that's great, but then it's like, well, which comes first? Consciousness or my brain's ability to, you know, link up with it. But still, it was very interesting that in the same week as an article, no, we don't have any free will at all. And this other article is like, wow, you can connect with the entire universe, you know, through quantum pathways. So it was interesting. And while they seem to be miles apart in their thinking, if you just look at what Troward had to say, like over 100 years ago, it's interesting. His theory, I think, maybe covers both ideas to a certain degree. So Troward proposed the idea that everything is made of pure spirit, that matter is spirit in manifestation, that matter is real, that it's not an illusion. And that while we know about the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, we should also think of there being a fourth kingdom, which he calls the human order, or intellectual man. And that we all belong to it, and that just because we belong to it, we have this intellect. Just because of that, it has set us off on a path of discovery. So humans have been discovering how to use natural laws to our benefit. So yes, a fox can dig a den and make a home, but our homes are something a little different, right? More than that. We have far more expansive abilities. We can even create skyscrapers or computers, movies, and of course, birthday cakes. Right? The important things in life. All because of this ability being, just being who we are. Being what he refers to as intellectual man. So, on the other hand, you could say, well, that's kind of like evolution, and maybe that's a lot like the first author's idea that there's no free will. It's just kind of evolution, you know, it's evolution, maybe of how we live. But if you step back and you take a look at the whole drama of the evolution of humanity over time, it begins to make more sense. And then you can see, perhaps, that while we may still incorporate characteristics of the mineral, plant, and animal kingdoms within ourselves, our intellectual capacity appears to set us apart from animals, other animals, in many ways. So Ernest Holmes said that the first great discovery, the most important discovery that mankind ever made, was simply realizing that we could think. This self-awareness. And this ability to think and be self-aware enough to recognize that you are thinking means that once the basic tasks of providing food, clother, and shelter are complete, or harvest time, the harvest has been good, you're not worried about your next meal anymore, and we humans can relax. Isn't it true that through all the generations, people ask themselves, why am I here? How did I get here? And what shall I do next? I mean, go back in time to any time in a past civilization, and if you can study it, you will find that they were asking themselves these questions. Well, this point, I believe, is the very point at which we begin to emerge from the fourth kingdom, thinking, being this intellectual man, the state of being through which we are evolving, into what Thomas Troward called the fifth kingdom, in which we actually express our individuality through our personality. So this is what he calls the personal factor. And so what are we going to express? Who we really are. And of course, then who are we really? This is always the big question. Well, the truth is, if you look at it, there's nothing but spirit. What we are is we are self-aware individualizations of spirit. We bear within ourselves the very same qualities that we ascribe to spirit, pure spirit, life itself. Love, light, power, peace, beauty, joy. Each one of us is unique and has the amazing ability and need, desire. Like we're impelled to express these qualities in our very own unique way. And this is how we express the multiplicity of life, right? There's this oneness of which we are part. So I could say, yes, yes, Rick, there goes God, but not all. Not all of God, because there's the rest of us too, and there's the, there's the elephants, there's the stars, there's everything. We're part of this multiplicity of expression. So I wanted to share something that Ernest Holmes said on this subject that I found pretty helpful, so paraphrasing a little bit. But he said that when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we see our body, and yet we know that we are more than our body. We know that there's something more to us than we see in the mirror, and that is our consciousness. Simply the ability to know that. And we should understand that even though we didn't create it, it is life within us. It is consciousness, and it is where we find the hidden source of our being, the source of all our powers and possibilities that we have already discovered, and the source of all our powers and possibilities that we have yet to discover. But before we can really bring these to the surface, we just need to know who and what we really are. We need to realize, and this is Holmes speaking, we need to realize that somewhere within us is the very same power and wisdom that, moving through imagination, wrote every book, painted every picture, invented every wonderful invention. We are one with this amazing intelligence. It's a matter of self-discovery. So he says we need to start by just believing that at the center of your being, there is a real person, a lovable person, a creative person. And he says, don't do it with conceit or arrogance, but with the utmost simplicity. Just become acquainted with yourself. And what we have to do is we must come to know that this real you, know the truth about yourself. Know that you are actually lovable, kind, happy, and bold. And of course, he says, you can't do this, you can't know this about yourself unless you also believe the same thing about everyone else. And while it may seem to contradict your experience, Holmes says you will soon discover that thoughts of love coming from yourself outwards will make you a lovable person. Because he says you can know and understand that that image of yourself in the mirror is a projection of your own thought, that all the power it possesses is what you give to it. And I think this is really important, going back to that first article. What it lacks, you are withdrawing from it. That if you are calm and poised inwardly, everything you do will become calm and orderly. That if you love others, they will come to love you. That if you identify yourself with success, you will be successful. And that if you find peace in your own soul, you will be bringing peace to your environment. So I just thought, you know, the way he describes it is so nice. I wanted to share that. But then the question is, well, how do you find this peace, love? How do you do that? Troward, who wrote his book very early, suggests the way to do it is by contemplating the originating pure spirit as the source of all good, as the source of love, beauty, harmony, truth, peace, and joy. And that as we do this, we should also begin thinking about ourselves as being surrounded, filled with this, and also imagine that we have the environment, the conditions of our choice, the circumstances, the health, the success, the happiness that would be our desired way of experiencing life. Ernest Holmes suggested that we use affirmative prayer to bring ourselves into direct communion with our source, and that we simply begin by affirming God's presence and understand that we live because Spirit lives in us, that there is this divine spark in each of us, and therefore we must know that love is active in our lives, and that as we reach out with love and blessings, our lives will be filled with love and blessings. So this brings me back to the practice that we're suggesting, which is the practice of gratitude. as a way to bring yourself to a point where you just feel more and more comfortable with the idea of seeing the good as a possibility everywhere, any time, and the possibility of opening the door to it, accepting more of it into your life, and understanding that as you allow more good to flow into your life, it's just going to flow everywhere, all around. You know, good's like a smile. You can give it away, give it away, give it away. It's never diminished. And that is the way in which we can actually use the personal factor, which we think of as our personality, to move us from feeling like we're just a bunch of insignificant sardines with no free will into recognizing that we are so much more, and that the only thing we have to do is to express who we really are. You carry the kingdom within you. Without you or around you, and you bring it forward with every breath you take and every step you make, because you are one with the one, and that's the truth. And so it is. Thank you. That was good. Thank you. Let's hear from Rick.
Wow. Once again, you have wrinkled my brain. So I'm going to do about the most micro song I got, and it's by Matthew West, and it's called My Own Little World. In my own little world, it hardly ever rains. I've never gone hungry, always felt safe. Got some money in my pocket, shoes on my feet. In my own little world, population me. Try to stay awake through the Sunday morning church. I throw a 20 in the plate, but I never give till it hurts. And I turn off the news when I don't like what I see. Yeah, it's easy to do when it's population me. What if there's a bigger picture? What if I'm missing out? What if there's a greater purpose that I could be living right now? Outside my own little world. Ooh. Stopped at a red light, looked out of my window. I saw a cardboard sign said, "Help this homeless widow." And just above that sign was the face of a human. I thought to myself, God, what have I been doing? So I rolled down the window and I looked her in the eye. Oh, how many times have I just passed her by? I gave her some money and I drove on through. In my own little world there's population too. Oh, what if there's a bigger picture? What if I'm missing out? What if there's a greater purpose that I can be living right now? Outside my own little world. Break my heart for what breaks yours. Give me open hands and open doors. Put your light in my eyes and let me see that my own little world is not about me. Hey, what if there's a bigger picture? What if I'm missing out? What if there's a greater purpose that I could be living right now? I don't want to miss what matters. I want to be reaching out. Show me the greater purpose so I can start living right now. Outside my own little world. Ooh, my own little world. Yeah, yeah, my own little world.
That was great. Thank you, Rick. Wasn't that great? It was so humorous and it had a really deep message. Thanks, Rick. I love that. Okay, so funny. Okay, so let's roll down our windows and do our little. It's our chance to give to our center and keep the doors open. So just know with me that this is a universe of abundance. That this abundance is at home here in our center, that everything we give comes back to us, because through giving we are setting in motion the giving, the receiving, all good in circulation. And so I give thanks for all the support which each of us receives from the universe, just like this center is supported by the universe. That's the way it is. I feel very grateful, and so it is. And so it is. But we have a little song.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you. So today we'll have a few moments of fellowship. Then we'll start our class 3. Everyone's invited. Even if you haven't come, if you want to sit in, you're welcome to do that. We're not going to tell a lot of secrets in this class, except for the secrets of the universe, right? Yeah, why not? Yes.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, we're going to talk about the secrets of the universe. And so everyone's invited. And, oh yes, next week is the Sunday before Halloween. So, I got your pumpkin costumes or whatever. Feel free to, if you've got a costume, feel free to wear it. It's not mandatory, but it's highly, encouraged. We like to celebrate, right? We call it a Sunday celebration, so put that in your thinking cap.
It's already in there.
Yeah, okay. So let's just, in closing, take a moment to remember the truth that this is a universe of spirit, that each one of us expresses spirit because we are one with it. And our unique individualization, which we refer to, is actually our personal factor that comes into play all the time as we live life to the fullest, as we wake up and live life consciously, as we wake up and make wonderful new choices, allowing our own lives to expand with joy, with creativity, with abundance, as we remind ourselves of who we really are, one with the one, having the attributes of spirit itself, of love itself. This is the way it is. Our light shines brightly. I give thanks that this is so. And knowing it is done, I say thank you, Thank you, Spirit. I let go, and I invite you to close with me by saying, and so
So it is.
Thank you.